Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tia Ramadani. I am from the English Language Education Study Program, the third semester, class 3B. Good evening. I'm shocking this session from Washington tonight. President Donald Trump has reportedly ordered the suspension of U.S. nuclear weapon testing for the first time since the 1919. The move has sparked confusion among his adherents and outrage from experts around the world.
Any details around the testing, sir? Like where, when?
It'll be announced. We have test sites. It'll be announced.
Trump's own nation. Trump's own national security team was soon by the uncommon Evelyn Farkas, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, called the order reckless and unnecessary, warning that it could destabilize global security. Beyond the political shock, analysts said the plan is logically impossible. There is funding approved by Congress for science testing, and the Pentagon is now authorized to conduct. The responsibility lies with the Department of Energy. France, a statement the restoring nuclear testing would cost hundreds of millions of dollars and take years of implementation.
And here he is announcing a testing program that could potentially cost hundreds of millions of dollars. I have been on the ground at those Nevada test sites from those many decades ago. And by the way, the Department of Energy is responsible for testing nuclear weapons, not the Department of Defense. So unfortunately, the president doesn't understand how the process works. Because there's no testing equipment. There's no expertise. There are no people. This will cost hundreds of millions of dollars and quite frankly, years to be able to do it. It's not just like, well, let's go ahead and set off a nuke. That is not how this works. And the American people have to understand and have full confidence that our nuclear weapons are safe and that they will operate as needed when they are needed. So this is just a ruse by the president.
Movie House of Dynamite, because there's a nuclear scenario and a president has to make a decision. And it really does come down to the president, the way our system is built, which goes all the way back to Truman and the Second World War. He didn't want the military to decide about use of nuclear weapons, and so it's the president that decides. In this scenario, we have a president who, I think he misspoke, Aaron. I think he did not mean to say we're going to do nuclear testing. We're not testing a nuclear weapon. We can test weapons that could carry a nuclear weapon, a nuclear bomb on them, and that's fine. And that's actually what the Russians said they were doing. And I think that President Trump was responding to the Russians. And for that, I give him credit, because I think it's good to be tough with the Russians in the current context. But he was misspeaking. And, there's a snowball effect potentially. It's not just that it costs money and it's unnecessary because scientifically we don't need it, but all these other countries are going to think they can do it.
They carried out the other culprit in 3-decade global moratorium on nuclear testing on respect by every major nuclear power aspect. North Korean critical what this decision could trigger new arms race and encourage rivals like China and Russia to expand their own nuclear programs. Support, however, argument that renewed testing would strengthen U.S. defense's readiness and demonstrate power in increasingly tense global landscape.
1996 is North Korea. Let's start there. Also, we've conducted far more nuclear tests than any other country, so we'd actually be facilitating other countries to catch up with us. I think what the president is reflecting in the sort of signal to Putin is actually a sign of something good that President Trump has done. I think by doing the oil sanctions on Putin, he's rattled Putin. Putin is worried that the president, now having done economic sanctions, might transfer the much coveted by Ukraine Tomahawk cruise missiles. And so I think what Putin is basically doing is saber rattling because he's worried. But I don't think we should go from there to breaking this long taboo on nuclear testing, which we don't need to do, is very expensive. By the way, even to just organize a nuclear test, it can take up to 2 years. So, and the president said he was ordering the Pentagon to do it, and it's actually the Energy Department that actually runs nuclear tests. So there's a lot of confusion.
With regards to the trade talks between U.S. and China, do you think much of value was actually achieved? Because the president framed this whole thing as a major breakthrough.
He said it was a 12 out of 10. I would say it was a 12 out of 10,000. All it really did was get us back to where we were in May. And now American soybean farmers will be able to again sell their crops to China. That's a good thing. China is not going to use talk about nuclear weapons. It started the equivalent nuclear option of basically banning our ability to import rare earths and magnets from China, which basically are essential to all our advanced industries today. And we've agreed to reduce the tariffs on China. That was the essence of it. It's where we were in May. This whole thing has been it's just been a festival of injecting uncertainty, Anderson, into our economy.
The tests could ensure the reliability of Americans' nuclear deterrent and send a message of strength. The adversaries. The move is unnecessary, violates international norms like funding and purpose, and could injure global stability. And the last, my opinion, I am disagree with Trump's order to resume nuclear testing because it degrows and could start a new global arms race. I think that's enough for me. Thank you for your watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.